What's up everyone, Mike here from The Art of Guitar. Today we're going to talk about the 6 levels of understanding your scales. And usually we do these level series for riffs to get really in depth, but I wanted to show people where other guitar players might be as far as their scale knowledge and the level they're at. And don't feel bad if you're at a lower level, because there's tons of guitar players out there that can make great music with the lower levels. But if you're like me and you're always looking to improve, then this video will hopefully help you know what the next level is to look out for, okay? So the first level is more conceptual. Like when you learn music theory, they'll say a major scale is built off whole steps and half steps. On the guitar, a whole step is 2 frets distance and a half step is 1 fret distance. And so they'll say something like 2 whole steps and a half step, 3 whole steps and a half step. That's the formula for a major scale. So let's put that into action really quick. We're going to go to the first string, 3rd fret. Just play that note. At this point, it doesn't matter if you even know what that note is, okay? If you don't know or if you don't know it's a G, it doesn't matter at this point. Okay, so now we're gonna go a whole step. So a lot of people make the mistake of hitting the first note and saying whole. You haven't gone anywhere yet, so you can't do that. That's just your starting point, okay? So let's go up a whole step. Remember 2 frets. Another whole step. Now a half step. Now 3 whole steps in a row. And a half step. There's your major scale formula right there on 1 string. And you can make tons of music with that. If you play that backwards, you've got, or within it. So it's not all just kids songs, but I just wanted to use those just for an obvious example. So play with that a little bit. That's your first level, just conceptually knowing your whole steps and half steps around the fretboard. And then you can try it on different strings. You can learn the minor scale formula and try that, and you'll be at level 1 of scale playing. Level 2 is for all you tab readers out there, where you just know it as numbers. So let's say we're playing a minor pentatonic scale in, let's say, the 6th string, 5th fret. So when I was learning, my friend and I would kind of tell each other how to play by saying 5, 8, 7. We give all these numbers because we're talking about fret numbers. So level 2 is just the fret numbers, just like you would see on tab. So let's say I'm going across and I'm trying to teach you how to do a minor pentatonic scale. I would say 5, 8, next string 5, 7, 5, 7 on the next 2 strings. Then on the last 2 strings, 5, 8, 5, 8. It's a great way to learn, to get started, I should say, but it's terrible if you're talking to other musicians. So if you're talking to like a piano player or a keyboardist or whatever, and they're wondering what you're playing and you say 5, it's not going to make any sense to them. So it does have its limitations, but it's a quick way to learn things, as you know from tab. So if you're reading tab and it says something like 5, 8, 5 with a hammer-on pull-off, you can play that really quick. You don't have to know how to read music or even know what notes you're playing. Another limitation that can happen is that you get a little too focused on the numbers. And if you're playing live, let's say, and you have a bunch of numbers flying through your head, sometimes you can get a little bit confused, and then it's like a house of cards just kind of collapses and you get lost. In the higher levels, you're going to find that you're able to remember things and recover from that kind of thing much quicker. So when you only know your numbers and you're only at level 2, things can be a little bit volatile. The 3rd level now is more shaped based. So if you look at the chart on the screen, this is what you're going to see in a lot of books, magazines, and websites and YouTube videos. So as I play the same scale I just described, the minor pentatonic scale, watch as it follows the chart. Ready, go. Shapes are great because you can really visualize them as you're playing the guitar. You see the little dots kind of light up on the fretboard with your mind. And you can move them around to the appropriate key when you start to know your notes around the guitar as well. And so let's say you want to take that exact same shape and just play it in a higher key. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to play it up here at the 12th fret now. You'll see the shape remains the same. Sounds like a Zeppelin song. But what's going to happen is it's just going to be higher pitched. So shapes are great. Unlike tab where you're stuck with whatever numbers they give you, the shape allows you to move around the neck and change it up a little bit, which is great. And the shapes are good to modify slightly. I wouldn't say as well as the higher levels, but let's say if you just wanted to move part of the shape just temporarily, just to, for example, play a blues scale. That's all you have to do, is you have to stray from the shape a little bit. They call that breaking out of the box, by the way. So if you ever hear that, that's what they're talking about. You can see by the grid, the minor pentatonic is a very boxy shape. So breaking out of the box is popular. Okay, so we know the value of shapes. By the way, the cage system that we teach on the website is based off of the shapes right away. Then we go deeper. So what could be deeper than the shapes? Well, we have intervals now. So the level 4 is going to be interval training. So let's start back on the 6th string, 5th fret. Interval wise now, I'm going to assume some of you know your intervals, and those of you who don't, you're going to learn them later. This video is not here to teach you intervals, but just to show you how they can be utilized. All right. So we have the root note, then we reach up to the minor third in the minor pentatonic scale. Then we have the 4th interval. Now we're talking a distance between the root note and whatever we're trying to play. So from the root note to here is a 4th interval. Then a 5th interval. Remember the distance between notes. Flat 7. Then we're back to the root note. You can also call that one the octave. Root note, minor third, 4th, 5th, flat 7, root note. That continues as you go up the scale to root note, minor third, 4th, 5th, flat 7, root note. Then you can reach up and hit this minor third at the very top. I almost said the letter or the pitch name. Okay, so that's what's going to happen as far as intervals go, and it's really great to modify with, because let's say you're playing a 5th. And you just want to throw in a flatted 5th, which is going to be 1/2 step below. Well, now you've created a blues scale by adding that flat 5. So you can start to talk like a musician now. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to play a minor pentatonic with a flat 5, creating a blues scale. Even the next octave, you can do it. Right there. All right, so with intervals, you have a lot of flexibility, and you really start to get into the intricacies of what creates a scale. Another thing you can do as well is you could start to see intervals within chords. So let's say you're playing a A7 chord. Well, as I look at that, I see a root note, a 5th, a flat 7, a 3rd, a 5th, and a root note. You start to see things in new ways. It's like having X-ray vision, kind of. So you can see what builds that chord. And then if you want to solo using those intervals, you can, because you can visualize them as you're playing. So what could be the 5th level? Well, I kind of gave it away earlier, but it's knowing the notes, the pitches within the scale. So let's go back to the basic minor pentatonic. And now I'm going to just name them each with a letter. We have A, C, D, E, G, A. So the A and the A, those are your octaves, obviously. Then if you move on, A, C, D, E, G, A, C. So what's the benefit of knowing your pitches when you're playing your scales? Well, there's too many to name right now in this short YouTube video, but one great thing is you can follow the changes when you're soloing. So let's say somebody's playing an A minor chord, which is built from A, C, and E, and I want to target one of those notes as I play. Well, all I got to do is look. Let's say I want to play C to A, because I know those are the two of the notes that are in the chord. Well, I just did it. Let's say I want to add an E with that and just do some kind of cool Hendrixy sounding thing. I just played A, C, and E because I can see them right there in the shape, hiding in there. Okay, if I wanted to play a high C, if I want to bend the D up and down and then end up on a C, come back home to A, you could do all that stuff. So it's just another way of seeing what's available. And then as you look across the neck, the better you get at knowing your notes, everything just lights up for you. It's kind of cool. So if I wanted to jump from this A to this one, I can. And then getting lost around the neck is way more rare because you always have a safety net right there. So a lot of you guys might be wondering what the highest level is as far as level 6 is for this video. And that's where you go beyond scales a little bit. So before you roll your eyes, here's what I'm talking about. So let's say somebody's just playing some kind of A minor rhythm in the background. Some Pink Floyd sonic thing or something. And if you really just play that rhythm for a while and listen, pretty soon your mind will start to give you ideas of what to play. And so you start to visualize sounds. And this can happen. This can happen right away for some people. Sometimes it's something you have to develop over a long period of time. But once you get in that creative wheelhouse, it's really cool to just hear a rhythm track. Let's say you play a backing track on YouTube and just listen, and something will come to you. And then what you do is you transcribe it from your mind. And that's when the usage of scales changes completely for you. Instead of trying to make something happen by using a shape or intervals or notes, you just simply listen to what the musical idea is in your mind, and you try to bring it out into the world using the scale. So it sort of changes its role. So I'm going to do that really quick. I'm just going to play this, and I'm going to come up with a small phrase. I'm just going to try to, and then bring it out using a scale. Hopefully the minor pentatonic scale that we were talking about. This is kind of generic, but I hear it in my mind. I'm going to try to figure it out. That would actually kind of sound cool with a wah pedal or something. It would sound like some 70s cop show or something. All right, so that might sound a little bit metaphysical or something, kind of bizarre. But if you start to really get creative with a guitar, you're going to see how knowing your scales can help you bring your ideas out quicker. If I had to sit there all day and try to map out what I'm hearing, it could take a long time. And what you want to do is over time shorten that amount of time it takes to bring it out. And a big part of that is knowing the scales inside and out, so that right away you almost just know where to go and how to play it. And so that can sound a little bit complicated, but on the website we're going to be focusing on that, on the improvising section at least, a lot. So we have to learn our scales first, and then whatever ideas we have, we can bring it out flawlessly, hopefully, and easily. Okay, everybody, I hope that was interesting for you, having the 6 different levels of understanding scales. And let me know if it helps you out and what you're doing to get to that next level, okay? All right, we'll see you at the next video. Thanks.